verbal communication and nonverbal communication skills. Communication is a powerful force that connects, motivates, and inspires us. It's more than just words, it's how we share our stories, express our dreams, and connect with those around us. And to truly communicate well, we must master both verbal and nonverbal communication skills. Communication is key in a relationship. Communication is lifeblood of organization. Communication is a two-way process. Communication is a process of sending information without the use of words. The communication process can take any of the two forms, verbal communication and nonverbal communication. Both forms usually operate together. Verbal communication can take the form of written or spoken words. Nonverbal communication cues and behaviors. Verbal communication skills. Verbal communication involves using speech to share information with others. At work, you might use verbal communication to give presentations, express your thoughts in meetings, make phone calls, or have meaningful conversations with colleagues. Understanding the types of verbal communication and their importance can make you a more effective communicator. Verbal communication is the act of speaking to convey a message. It can be formal or informal. Verbal communication is a type of communication where we use spoken and written words to get our message and information across to the other person. Types of verbal communication skills. Using different ways of speaking helps you communicate ideas and express emotions more effectively. In verbal communication, you express ideas aloud to another person. The information you may convey during a conversation also includes the tone of your speech. There are 5 different types of verbal communication. 1. Intrapersonal verbal communication. Intrapersonal communication is a way of communicating with yourself. The most common example is the inner voice that people employ to mentally describe or process events. But intrapersonal communication is not just about talking to yourself silently. Some examples of intrapersonal communication are when you talk to yourself, daydream, reflect on your thoughts and feelings by writing in a journal, imagining things in your mind, or practicing meditation. Using these communication techniques in a positive way can help you and your colleagues work better and reduce stress in your personal life. Examples of intrapersonal communication. Thought. The term inner monologue can be reductive for people who do not carry on a running narrative in their own minds. Performing self-reflection, meditation, daydreaming, and remembering sounds or images are all forms of intrapersonal communication that can help you process experiences. It doesn't have to be the equivalent of a novel. Graphical. We don't only write or create graphical notes for other people. Keeping a diary, online journaling, writing lists, drawing, or even just keeping post-it notes are all self-directed forms of communication. Vocal. Singing in the shower may seem an odd self-improvement tool, but many of us narrate our lives through song. Some people also practice presentations out loud, rehearse conversations, and repeat new information until they remember them. Vocalizing information can be a powerful way to understand it better. Improve your intrapersonal skills. Depending on the individual, intrapersonal communications can either be helpful or harmful. Speaking to yourself as a way of logically working through and solving problems can be a highly effective strategy. On the other hand, if you get trapped in what psychologists call a cyclical verbal negative dynamic, continually asking brawl, what if this bad thing happens? Then your way of communicating with yourself may induce anxiety and block personal and professional development. To avoid this, we should focus on developing positive intrapersonal communication, which can help us achieve better outcomes and avoid negative thought cycles. Number 2. Interpersonal verbal communication. Interpersonal communication involves the information, ideas, and feelings being exchanged verbally or non-verbally between 2 or more people. Face-to-face communication often involves hearing, seeing, and feeling body language, facial expressions, and gestures. In other terms, interpersonal communication is exchanging information, meaning, feelings, and opinions between 2 or more people via verbal and non-verbal means. Types of interpersonal communication. Verbal. In other words, speaking. This term covers the words you use, how persuasively you speak, the language you use, which words you emphasize, and even the use of affirmative sounds and short phrases. Listening. You can make a good case for listening as the most important interpersonal communication skill. It covers the ability to listen attentively, whether you're using your ears to listen in person or some other means, say, over the internet. Listening also includes special techniques like reflection and clarification. The best listeners are people who can focus their attention on the speaker to make the latter feel like they're the sole and most important person in the room. The written word. Thanks to the internet age and situations requiring isolation, e.g. the pandemic, good written communication skills have become an asset. Whether you're on social media, in the workplace, or even texting on your phone, you must know how to get your point across in writing. This type includes emojis, grammar, clarity, tone, and even punctuation. After all, there's a vast difference between let's eat grammar and let's eat grammar. Improve interpersonal communication skills. Building interpersonal communication skills can help you improve your relationships, increase your ability to collaborate effectively with others, and enhance your overall success in life. One of the most important aspects of interpersonal communication is active listening. This involves fully concentrating on what the other person is saying without interrupting or judging them. Communication is most effective when it is clear and concise. Use simple language and avoid jargon or technical terms. Empathy involves understanding and sharing the feelings of others. When communicating with others, try to put yourself in their shoes and show understanding and compassion for their perspective. Look for common interests or experiences and use humor or other forms of positive reinforcement to build a positive relationship. Be open to constructive criticism and feedback from others, and use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. 3. Group verbal communication. Group communication is the act of sending and receiving messages to multiple members of a group. In a business environment, groups often use this type of communication to exchange ideas, determine goals, and motivate other members. The size of groups can vary, but they typically comprise at least 3 members and up to 20 members. Group communication can be beneficial for groups of all sizes, from smaller focus groups to entire departments. When groups communicate effectively, they can share necessary information as they work to accomplish mutual goals. The main difference between interpersonal communication and group communication is only the number of people involved. Small group communication may happen when more than 2 people are present. Here, the number of participants may be small enough to allow each person to interact or converse with others. Improving group communication. The team members come together for a discussion that encourages all members to engage in the group communication channel. Members typically feel more empowered to share their thoughts and opinions with other people on the team. If there is a group leader, that person may want to establish a policy to consider all ideas from any member without immediate judgment or bias. This type of guideline may help to make members feel more comfortable communicating in the group channel. Setting clear, specific responsibilities for each group member may help to avoid any confusion or misunderstanding about their role on the team, while also establishing accountability to keep each member working toward the shared goal. The success of the team can depend on how well members work together to reach their objectives. It's important to establish a sense of teamwork so each member might feel motivated to do their part to help the group be successful. 4. Public verbal communication. Public communication refers to the act of dispersing a message to a specific group through the use of various tools or methods. Information can come from the government, academic courses, organizations, and political parties, to mention just a few. Public communication is crucial because it helps bridge gaps between the sender and the public. This method of communication usually takes place when one person talks to many people, such as a crowd. Public speeches during election campaigns are good examples of public communication. In most cases, the information goes in one direction. There is usually a person who addresses or conveys information to many recipients. With public communication, the speaker may try to disclose and explain an idea to an audience. A good example is a lecturer giving a speech at an industry conference. Disseminating key information to the masses via TV and radio can be an integral part of public communication. Examples of public communication include political campaigns, press conferences, and seminars. Each of these creates an avenue by which an organization or government can communicate with the general public. Improve public speaking. In developing good public speaking skills, body language, eye contact, a sense of audience engagement, and practice are essential. The more comfortable you become in front of a live audience, the better a speaker you will be. For new speakers, it is useful to take advantage of every opportunity to gain experience. The 5. Mass verbal communication. Mass verbal communication uses a medium to get their message across to a larger audience. While it is common to have one main speaker in the types we previously mentioned, intrapersonal, interpersonal, group, and public verbal communication, in mass verbal communication, the main speaker consists of a small group of people who are sharing their ideas together as a team. When we speak of mass verbal communication, we talk about newspapers, television, or radio shows. Most recently, social media posts have become a new vessel of mass verbal communication. Importance of verbal communication. Verbal communication can play a significant role in the workplace. It's essential to conduct a meeting, make a presentation, or hold personal conversations. Effective verbal communication involves more than just speaking. It includes how you deliver and receive messages. Using different types of verbal communication may help you express your ideas, thoughts, emotions, and experiences. This can help you reflect on your individual strengths. For example, you may define yourself as determined, collaborative, or patient. Aspects of verbal communication. The message should be clear, concise, and easy to understand. The tone of voice used can affect the effectiveness of the communication. It's important to give others the chance to speak and not cut them off. Verbal communication is perhaps the most obvious and understood mode of communication, and it is certainly a powerful tool in your communication toolbox. Put simply, verbal communication is the sharing of information between two individuals using words. In the majority of messages you send and receive, spoken or oral and written are both forms of verbal communication. Verbal communication is a powerful tool, and it's made even more powerful when paired with listening and nonverbal communication. Advantages of verbal communication. Verbal communication is a quick way to convey messages, which can save time. It's easy to get feedback quickly after delivering a message. Verbal communication can help ensure that the message is clear, concise, and easy to understand. Verbal communication is a key part of building strong relationships with others. It can help you build trust, motivate people, and gain respect. Verbal communication allows you to express emotion, which can be difficult to do with messaging. In-person and video calls allow you to pick up on the message behind the words through nonverbal communication, intonations, and silences. Verbal communication is best used when you need to discuss something in detail or when you need to compliment or reprimand someone. Disadvantages of verbal communication, such as the possibility of misinterpreting the meaning and the possibility of including irrelevant information. Improve verbal communication. Focus on the speaker to understand their message and respond thoughtfully. Consider your audience's preferences and concerns. This will help you create a better speech with clear direction and topics that will hold their interest. Use clear language to reduce confusion. Your tone of voice is just as important as the words you use. Make sure your tone is respectful and professional. Body language can provide valuable information about the feelings of others. Take the time to formulate your thoughts before expressing them. Choose your words with care and use an appropriate tone of voice. Speaking with confidence can help you gain trust and respect from your audience. Put yourself in the shoes of those you're speaking with, listen attentively, and understand their concerns. Nonverbal communication skills, body language, facial expressions, gestures, these can speak even louder than words. Sometimes what we don't say communicates the most. A smile can open doors, eye contact can convey sincerity, strong posture can show confidence. In fact, people often trust what they see in our actions and expressions more than what they hear. So ask yourself, what are you communicating with your presence, your energy, your gestures? Nonverbal communication types. While these signals can be so subtle that we are not consciously aware of them, research has identified 9 types of nonverbal communication. These nonverbal communication types are facial expressions communication skills. When you are happy, but apathetic facial expression may have communicate different information. Facial expressions happy, sad, angry help you convey your message. Be aware of your facial expression when you talk, and particularly when you listen, which is when it's easy to forget. Gestures communication skills. When you speak, a gesture can make your message stronger. Pointing out something you want your listener to look at more closely is an example of nonverbal communication that makes your message understood. Motioning warmly toward a coworker who deserves special recognition, making a fist to show frustration or anger, such gestures help further engage your audience when you speak. Paralinguistics, such as loudness or tone of voice. We speak paralanguage when we gasp, sigh, clear our throats, change our tone, whisper or shout, emphasize certain words, wave our hands, frown or smile, laugh or cry, string vocal identifiers, or speak faster or slower. Body language communication skills. Body language is a range of nonverbal signals that you can use to communicate your feelings and intentions. These include your posture, facial expressions, and hand gestures. Proxemics, or personal space. How close you are to your audience when you speak sends a nonverbal message. If your size is imposing, and you leave a very small distance between you and your listener, it's likely your nonverbal communication will be a bit threatening. On the other hand, giving someone too much space is an awkward nonverbal communication that might confuse your listener. Eye gaze. Making and maintaining eye contact with an audience when you're verbally communicating or listening communicates to the other party that you're interested and engaged in the conversation. Good eye contact often conveys the trait of honesty to the other party. Haptics. Shaking an audience member's hand, putting your hand on his shoulder. These are nonverbal cues that can affect the success of your message. Touch communicates affection, but it also communicates power. You can think about what kind of messages a job applicant may send through a weak handshake versus a firm one after having a job interview. Appearance. Your clothing, hair, and jewelry are also a part of nonverbal communication. If you put a dachshund pin on your lapel each morning, that says something about you as a person. Similarly, the quality and condition of your clothing, how it fits, if it's appropriate for the season, all of these things speak nonverbally about you as a communicator. Artifacts, objects, and images. By using relevant images and objects that increase audience engagement and improve the audience's understanding of the message you're trying to convey. Improve your nonverbal communication. Making eye contact with the person you're speaking to can help you build a connection. Facial expressions like frowning, raised eyebrows, or a straight face can convey different meanings. Good posture can reflect your confidence and energy. To project a positive posture, stand or sit up straight, keep your shoulders back, and avoid slouching. Gestures can help with language communication and can also have independent communication attributes. Body language is a powerful tool that can convey your thoughts and emotions to others. Active listening is a form of verbal and nonverbal communication that shows you're listening and taking into account what the other person is saying. Remember, communication is the bridge between people. It's how we create understanding, share knowledge, and connect on a deeper level. The ability to communicate well, both verbally and non-verbally, is one of the greatest gifts you can develop. It will open doors in your career, deepen your relationships, and allow you to inspire and lead others. So today, decide to become a great communicator. Speak with clarity, listen with intention, and let your actions and expressions amplify your words. Because when your words and presence align, you have the power to move mountains, touch hearts, and change lives. Subscribe to channel for more videos. Thank you.